and welcome to Does the Team Think? Hello, I'm Vic Reeves, Zambia's most useless pipe fitter. And welcome to Does the Team Think? The show that presents a quartet of unfocused and starchy disciples of Bacchus with a series of valid and reasonable questions from you, the glorious public. They will then rummage around in the darkest recesses of their minds for an answer, like unhinged widows in search of deeds and dog biscuits. My first guest is Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen. With legs tapering dangerously to points, Lawrence totters wildly about London's East End, searching desperately for an answer to his condition. The reason for his plight began when, as a youngster, the parsimonious mill owner used Lawrence's legs to practice his skills on his half-round file so as not to waste costly wood. My next guest is Tom Baker. Now then, Tom's catchphrase used to be, "Is that a radish, Norman?" during the 1940s, and it became so popular that both Tommies and Jerrys alike could be heard calling out, "Is that a radish, Norman?" as they lobbed mortar bombs and grenades at one another from their trenches. My third guest is Joe Caulfield. Joe has an enormous collection of Noel Edmonds-faced Toby jugs, acquired from every corner of the globe. She also harbours a partiality for exhibitionism, which was proven today as she arrived at the theatre astride her nauseating bloodhound Dominic. My fourth and final guest is Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Arthur is often found skulking around the ladies' underwear department wearing his omnipresent Mickey Mouse gas mask, tormenting the sales assistants with his fiddling stick, and poking his head around the changing rooms, calling out, "Is that a radish, Norman?" And so, without any further ado, let's commence Does the Team Think? And we've got a question now from the lady there sitting next to the milksop holding the quill. What's your name and what's your question?
My name is Jacqueline, and my question is, what does the team have a fear of?
What does the team have a fear of? Well, I have a fear of giant hovering steel ghost tortoises with electric teeth and poisonous bum bags. But that's just me. What about you, Lawrence? What have you got a fear of?
I share your fear in many ways, as I think do all of us now. We're suddenly very frightened of whatever that was. Technically, you're only supposed to fear itself, aren't you?
Really?
So, that's a good catch-all, really.
Technically, is this...
Technically. Scientifically.
Well, which scientist said that, then?
I don't know. I can't remember who it was as well. It was someone obviously far brainier than I.
Tom, what do you fear?
The only thing I'm really very good at is ironing, and I live in Tunbridge Wells, where apart from ironing, you can only go to see The Sound of Music and sing along with it. And so I had a terrible experience when I took up this ironing. I'm never far from my Rowan. Actually, I've got it here. Actually, my Rowan. But I've also got a gusset iron. Because, I'm very fastidious in that way, and there's nothing more painful than a crispy gusset. Anyway, I was actually standing there naked, and it was quite warm, I remember. It was a lovely warm morning. And I was using Robin starch as opposed to easy iron. And in the excitement of the heat and everything like that, I didn't see where I didn't see where it was kind of ejaculating. And it was ejaculated on me, near the iron. And the heat was absolutely tremendous. And I've been afraid of it ever since, because I don't need to actually spell the rest of it out, do I? This being a family show at all.
I can take the point. Arthur, anyway, you were saying.
I also have a fear of being in front of a large audience and being asked what I have to fear and finding I have nothing to say.
Joe, what about you? What do you fear?
I have very many fears. I have, and sometimes they can combine. I have a fear of height, and I have a fear of driving on bridges. And I always discover these fears at the wrong time. I discovered going up the Statue of Liberty, and I didn't know I was afraid of heights. And there's about 300 Japanese tourists behind me, and I'm frozen to the spot, halfway up, halfway down. And you're so irrational. At that moment, I thought, well, what they could do is get a helicopter outside, and then I could just get onto that, and then that would be fine. I actually thought that would happen. So, heights, driving...
Supermarkets? I'm afraid of supermarkets.
Are you?
Oh, they're terrifying places.
Children...
Children in supermarkets.
Well...
On high bridges.
Yeah, children on high... Or being left... What I hate is being left with a child and, you know, to entertain it. Because they're just like these little fat emperors in nappies, aren't they? They just look at you like, go on, entertain me. And if you don't entertain them, then they scream.
You just stare at them for a long time.
Is that what you do?
Yes. Well, that's fear covered. Next question from the gentleman with the churlish yet somehow endearing smirk. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Joffy, and my question is, if the team were to grow an extra eye, whereabouts on their body would they have it, and why?
If the team were to grow an extra eye, whereabouts? Well, I would grow an extra eye on my eye. Then when people cry out, "Oi, 4 eyes," I could reply, "Yes, actually, I do have 4 eyes. So screw you, Mr. Four Lips." Arthur, what about you?
I think I would have my extra eye on a large stalk sticking out of my head. Just because I think it would look really cool. Don't you think? I mean, Lawrence, you're a man of style, and what about that? A big stalk sort of vaguely dangling in the wind on top of my head.
I'm struggling to see that as a positive.
It's not a positive, is it?
Joe, as a woman, do you think if I turned up to a date with an extra eye stuck on the stalk, that this would go well?
I don't know if it's the eye that would put me off. I'm not sure.
I think...
Very hard to wear hats. You'd never be able to wear hats again. You'd have to say goodbye.
Well, you get a very special top hat.
You could have a hole, exactly, a hole,
Yeah.
like
With a
those
hole in it.
donkey hats where they've got the ears coming
like a little periscope sticking out, like a little worm stuck out of the hat.
It could be quite useful. This is
very-
such a
yeah.
sensible place for it.
It'd be satisfying going to the hairdresser, not having to do that thing, and just going, yeah, I can do that, and just holding it. That would really annoy them, I think, that you
Yeah,
could do
because they
that
like
yourself.
that bit with the mirror, don't
Yeah,
they?
they think they're scientists when they put that mirror behind their head.
Tom, what about your ideal spot for an eye?
Well, I think probably just on the end of this finger here, really.
The index.
Yeah, is that the index?
Yeah.
I know all. But I do think it would be... I would say, I mean, first of all, you'd be able to, if you had something in one of the other eyes, you could have a look at it to see what it was. You could check the wax in your ear. You could see what you were excavating when you were picking your nose in private. And I suppose when you were absolutely engaged in all-in wrestling with passion and gasping and, well, you'd probably see a few things you didn't know about while it was all happening. You know? So altogether, it would be, and when if you were a doctor, of course, you'd just say, and you could catch sight of the uvula. That's the one.
And of course you could save precious time by sticking your finger down the plug hole, see what was in the U-bend before you called the plumber out.
Listen, there's absolutely no limit to where you could put this thing, really. It isn't.
I'd like it on my bum, I think.
Really?
Because I did sit on chewing gum recently, so that wouldn't happen again.
Look, I'm perfectly happy with the eyes I've got. I think having another eye is just silly. I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Get you, Ducky.
I know. If I had another eye, I'd keep it in a really quite nice jar on some pretty mantel shelf.
So the next question is an email, and it comes from Damp Susan from Exeter. And she asks, do the team think that beards on men are complimentary? I had a beard once. It was so impressive that I used to loan it out to the Admiralty for major battles. Lawrence, have you ever worn a beard?
I haven't.
Have you ever enjoyed a beard?
I have, well... We once went to a fancy dress party and Mrs. Llewellyn-Bowen affected a rather lovely silky blonde beard, and I have to say I found it rather enticing.
You mean she grew one?
No, it was all stuck on, but it was quite convincing. We both went as Captain Hook, so I don't know why she had the beard, but it became something of a motif for our downstairs and upstairs behaviour for a while.
No.
Yes. Darling, get the beard out.
Tom, have you ever been bearded?
Yes, I have, yes. And I believe in beards. I think people who are shy or scarred or just terribly ugly, but mostly if they're shy, they can hide behind the beard. And I like Bill Oddie's beard, don't you? I mean,
it's a very scruffy beard, isn't it?
Yeah, but
like one of his, a bird's nest.
Shrubby, isn't it?
But that's because he's a voyeur, isn't it? He's always spying on innocent birds who don't know what's going on. There they are pursuing their lives, and Oddie comes along like an old hedge. I remember when I had a thing about hairy girls. I mean, really hairy ones. I'm talking severe beards here. Not to mention sporrans, but I mean, it was...
Tom, clearly what's happened here is that you have been seduced by a Scotsman in a pub.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Bill Oddie. Bill Oddie after a beer.
Oh, dear.
What about you, Arthur?
Well, I believe unless you were born in the 19th century, beards are terrible. Unless you use them as practically. Like, for example, if you're a mountaineer, you can scrape off the beard when you're at the top and have your breakfast again. And then, for a little bit of relaxation, shave a bit off and smoke it.
Very good. Joe, beards.
I'm very against beards. Horrible. Kiss a man with a beard is a horrible.
Is it?
Oh, horrible.
On. Yes, it is.
It's horrible, isn't it?
All scratchy.
Bits of food you've known they've eaten for a couple of weeks. Very disgusting.
Oh.
And also, I'm very mistrustful. I'm trying to see if anyone in the audience has got one. Men who have too neat beards. Any man. Oh, we've got a. Oh, yeah.
Well, let's move on now to the next question, and it comes from the lady loath to raise her head from a Sudoku machine. What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Helena. Does the team have a favourite hobby or pastime?
Does the team have a favourite hobby or pastime? My hobby is shopping. People. Joe, what about you?
Is spreading malicious rumours and gossip, is that...
That's shopping people as well, yeah.
Yes,
Right,
that is,
right.
I would say that is my hobby. Again, it's like, I am mistrustful of people with hobbies. People who are really into things. You just go, does that stop you killing? Is that why you collect things? I'm not into hobbies. It's mainly men, mainly collecting, and they tell you about it. That's what I'm really against.
That's what I told you about my Airfix collection. I like to wear high heels on aeroplanes. Because then when the captain says, ladies, remove high heels, I figure, well, I don't have to. So I can keep my high heels on.
Very good, yeah. Tom, what's your hobby?
Well, one of my hobbies is, apart from ironing, is actually, I think, old churchyards. If I'm feeling down a bit, I go into an old churchyard, and no matter how down I'm feeling, and sometimes I'm quite sensitive, but sometimes I think to myself, I may be down and I may be old and I may have very little future, but I've got the edge on all you buggers.
No, you see, I'm completely with Joe. I think that the whole concept of hobbies or pastimes, collections, that's another one where you thimble collections that come in a special sort of display.
Oh, have you got
any? No, I haven't. Nor have I got a series of pictorial gold-rimmed plates depicting Elvis's favourite fast food.
Haven't you got any of them?
I'm tempted constantly.
I'll bet. Let's move on to the next question, and it's the pugnacious boy there with the fanatical beret. What's your name and what's your question?
My name's Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Hello, Robin.
Hello. If the team were to wear their favourite outfit, does the team think others would agree?
Ah, very good question there, Robin. What's your favourite outfit? My favourite outfit includes a codpiece. Hey, indeed, but actually, I use a real cod. And very often alive. Arthur.
But a cod is an enormous fish.
Ooh.
Dara O'Brien was speaking then as the whistle went, gained that extra point for doing so. He has leapt forward. He's still in third place, but he's moved. And
Suit bottoms, a string vest with a smear of creosote on my ears.
On the what, ears?
Yeah. Just sort of shows them up a little.
Yeah.
And I find when I wear
you.
that outfit, I have a lot of time on my own.
I've got you.
There was a strange
I
noise
applaud
there.
that thought. Joe, what about you? What's your
I
favourite?
just think there was a strange noise there from a woman as though she was going, that's exactly what I'm wearing.
Well, it is.
I
Look,
don't
she's sitting
have
there.
a favourite outfit. I'm always looking for the favourite outfit, and the favourite outfit might, at the beginning of the evening, that might be the favourite outfit, and then by the end, I hate the outfit and myself. And
You're a woman, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
So very hard for the favourite. Always looking. I had a very hideous thing happen to me shopping. Shouldn't go. Went into like young people's shop, Topshop, and this assistant there and trying to help me, but said the most awful thing to me. I tried on this top. I didn't really understand the top, and I had it on the wrong way round, and she had to explain it to me, which isn't a good start, right? And then she goes, to be nice to me, she goes, "Oh, wish my mum wore trendy clothes like you." It's like a knife in my heart, you know what I mean? I mean, I could have been her mum, you know, if I'd been a bigger slut in high school, but, you know. So upsetting.
Quite so. Tom.
What? Oh.
He was thinking of high school sluts, then.
I did.
See it in your eye.
I know, that's a good tale. I think sometimes it's a nice test to wear something unusual. I'd quite like to wear a burqa, actually. I mean, the whole thing, you know, right up. And so that when you went round and knocked on your friend's door, and that's if you had a friend. I mean, I wouldn't, but if you had a friend and you were in a burqa and knocked on the door, and someone says, "There's someone at the door," and you say, "Who is it?" You said, "I don't know, it's in a burqa." I mean, I'd quite like to try that because it would produce a kind of frisson, wouldn't it? Because underneath a burqa, what defeats me about that style, which can be beautiful material and everything like that, is you've got no idea what's underneath it, do you? No idea at all.
Well, what would you wear under your burqa?
Mind your own business. You'll have to come under my burqa and find out.
Well, there's an invitation. I'm sorry, I'm busy tonight. I'm going under Tom Baker's burqa.
Underneath the burqa, we dreamed our dreams away. Lawrence.
You could have a burqa warming party. You could have friends around. couldn't you?
The possibilities are endless. But Lawrence, what would you wear? But you've got plenty of outfits.
You see, I mean, I'm on a sort of almost holy grail type quest to find the perfect suit. A pinstripe suit where only one stripe is visible at any one time. That would be of such phenomenal tailoring sartorial complexity. I think I would have just arrived at that point. That is dandy nirvana.
A dogtooth suit with one dog tooth somewhere on the suit. You've got to find it.
Or a dogtooth suit with cat teeth.
Really? Oh, that'd throw people, wouldn't it?
Good, yeah.
I bought a coat in Paris last winter, and I thought this is quite a nice looking coat, and it was on sale, and it was 150 quid, which is quite a lot, but I thought, oh, that's all right. And as I was trying it on, this is great. I discovered that 150 quid was the ticket price of the scarf that was round the coat.
Let's move on to the next question. And it comes from, is that a gentleman? Yeah, the kid there with the raccoon. What's your name and what's your question?
My name is Inarm, and my question is, if the team were to cook their ideal meal, what would it be?
Ooh, very good question there. What's the best meal to cook?
If I were to cook my ideal meal, it would be a disaster. So in that sense, it wouldn't be my ideal meal.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think there's a real flaw to this. You know, I think one's ideal meal should be cooked for one.
Yes, definitely.
You know, you don't really...
Have you not got a speciality?
I have a variety of specialities. All of them provided for me by other people.
But you don't cook anything yourself, specially?
No, I'm apparently quite good at boiled eggs, so my children tell me.
I do an egg temple, which is omelette with scrambled egg on top of that, and then 4 hard-boiled eggs supporting a fried egg on the top of that. It's a kind of, you know, it looks like a Greek temple.
But you wouldn't...
But it works at dinner parties.
You wouldn't poo for a week after that. They would just
No, you're completely egg-bound for a year. Tom, what about you? You must have...
Well, I do, yeah. There's one or two things I could do very well, but I think that my favourite dangerous and self-indulgent meal is double egg and bacon on a fried slice.
Oh, yeah, the fried slice.
With a lot of salt on the egg, yeah. And I think it's, of course, terribly dangerous. It really is dicing. But, you know, when you live in Tunbridge Wells and they've only got The Sound of Music on the local cinema, double eggs and bacon, you know, can make life seem...
I think the fried slice is your masterpiece.
Oh, yeah, that's right,
I mean,
You just don't eat those now,
they're not
do you?
fashionable, are they? You don't get them in health food shops. And a slice.
It's all down to bread and eggs.
Yeah,
End of the day.
Aren't we grown up?
Well, I don't know. There's something to be said for, you know, oysters, steak
lovely.
frite, chocolate mousse, all washed down with a bottle of Rioja from the navel of Sulawesi.
Very good point. Joe, what's your favourite?
Well, again, it would be cooked by somebody else. But I really do like food, but I don't like to have to talk about it. You know, when someone's made you a really nice dinner, I don't like to then spend the entire meal talking about how they made the dinner, which is really, I'm a bad guest. I like to eat and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, eat.
Like
Shut up, let me eat, let
as
me
though
go.
you're obliged to say,
Yes.
you must give me the recipe.
Yeah, and what would I do with it? Yeah.
So you have your egg and
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
OK, well, the next question is an email, and it's from Mary Clout
Don't believe you.
from Vanished Dunwich. And she says, does the team think, is honesty the best policy? Is honesty the best policy?
I think absolutely not. I think honesty is hideous and should be banned at any opportunity.
How do we know you mean that?
Well, exactly. You see? It's also horribly slippery. No, I think honesty, when people say that they've got to be honest, that means that they're going to be insulting and that they value their opinion, their honesty over your feelings. And I feel that that's a very antisocial and friendless way of behaving.
Ooh, that's tough.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
What
much.
depth? Now then, Arthur.
Well, I find that, for example, when I go to the laundrette, my local laundrette, if I'm not honest, then it's a disaster. Because they say to me always, I give them my clothes and they say, when do you want these back? And I think, well, if I've got some choice in the matter, I'm here now, I might as well have them now. But if you say that to them, it's no good. So it's best to lie and say Friday.
It's very good. That's a very, very clinical answer. And I thank you for that. Joe.
I'm with Lawrence, being on, and people, they always do pride themselves on being honest, don't they? They'll go, well, I'm always really honest. We go, well, stop it, don't be. But I had one where I said something that I think my grandmother, who was 90, so that's a big deal, she's 90, and also she's got all her marbles, so she knows she's 90, so we have to have a party. We couldn't have said, oh, you've had a party. She goes, no, I didn't. Right. She knows, right? So we had this party, and it was that sort of thing where I didn't really think about it, and what can I say? She's 90, that's amazing. So I just went, it's amazing, you're 90. I said, you don't look it. So she's excited, because I think, 90, do you really care what you look like? She goes, oh, how old do I look? 80? I don't know, what can I say? You look ancient. There's nothing I can say at this point. I can't go, well, you could get away with 40. You could, you're 90.
On another occasion in the laundrette, well, it was a hot day. Anyway, I was in the laundrette, and an old lady said, 82 today. I said, well done, darling, you don't look over 90. She said, no, it's 82 degrees today. I'm 63, yeah.
Tom, well, I think giving advice is a bit dangerous, really, and giving good advice is absolutely fatal. So I would have thought that honesty is a very treacherous and swampy area, because we don't really know what it is, or it's got so many degrees, and we especially don't know what the motive is when people are saying that they're being honest with you, if it's not, to take your point up. There's a sting, isn't it, when people tell you, look, I'll be absolutely honest with you. Oh, honestly, my bowels curdle at the thought of it. And it was because I couldn't bear that I got started as a professional liar, being an Irish Roman Catholic in Liverpool. And when we had to go to confession, where nothing was happening, I was only about 7 at the time, I said, trying to please the priest. I said, it's a week since my last confession. I've done murder. This was... It wasn't true. I should put you in the picture. It wasn't true. And the priest actually put out his caps in full strength and leaned into the screen and said, "Murder? How many times?" They always said that. If you said, I've had an impure thought, he said, "How many times? And give me the details." He said, "Murder? How many times?" So by this time I was flying. I said, 3. He said, 3 murders since last Wednesday. Anyone we know? And I said, no, Father, they were from St. Teresa's, that's the next parish. And he said, oh, in that case, that's perfectly all right. Ego te absolvo. So after that, I thought, really, I've got to keep on with this tall story stuff,
And I will finish off with my final question, which is my personal question, and I would like to know, does the team think that given the current trend for Hollywood tartlets to emerge from limousines not wearing knickers, would it be permissible for me to disembark from the bus without my underpants and trousers on? I'd like to know the answer. Joe, you're a lady. What do you think of that? Have you ever emerged from a car without the sans knickers?
I have. I have the sense to remember if I have the knickers on or not. But I think if you're going to attempt it, you've got to do it in the casual styling. They don't come out without their trousers on, do they? So you'd have to do it with just fly undone with your...
No, I haven't got underpants or trousers on, but I have a very long shirt.
Long shirt with cod hanging out is the only way you'd get away with it.
I'm going out without me cod.
So you've got like a big nightgown on?
I don't know. Well, they display themselves quite obviously from the photographs I've seen.
I've got the perfect solution for this, which is an old and rather batty, rather ratty dressing gown. With a rather slack cord to the front of it. Or perhaps a pair of rather baggy-fronted pyjama trousers with a...
No, I'm going out without me trousers or underpants. I'm going out, with no bottoms on at all.
But that's so unsubtle, isn't it, really? Because with your tartlets, they sort of... they do... it's just a little nonsense.
Yes.
Should I perhaps stick some stamps on my old chap? Or maybe hang a tassel?
Gaffer tape?
Gaffer tape a tassel on.
Tassel, I like that.
Or a little minnow.
Or what about a
waggles its head from side to side.
What about a finger puppet? A felt finger puppet?
Tom, what do you think? What should I do?
Well, I think it should be locked up. For a start. It's an appalling thought, actually. It is, it's a wonderful thought after 3 or 4 pints of Abbott, but no, it simply wouldn't work. No,
but I'm eager to appear as a Hollywood tartlet.
No, that can't be done. You can't do it.
Really?
No, you can't. Give it up. Ask us another question. Don't.
No, that's
keep your legs together.
Arthur, do you think am I on a losing?
Well, in my extensive experience, going around with your knackers out does not please the police. And you could get banged up and put in prison, and that would ruin the premiere for you.
Oh, what a good point. Well, thank you for clearing that up for me. Ladies and sentimentalmen, I hope you've gleaned some understanding from the questions answered by our scholars and may put the information to good use in your quests for foreign domination or simply to locate that missing suppository. I know I did. Goodbye. That was Does the Team Think with Vic Reeves and this week's guests, Arthur Smith, Tom Baker, Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen and Joe Caulfield. It was written by Vic Reeves and was produced by Paul Russell. This has been an open mic production for BBC Radio 2.